Welcome to Inside Titan Sports and our first broadcast of the new year. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe. Happy 2016. Hope you've enjoyed your holiday break because you got to buckle up now. We're ready to get back and talk about Eastern Florida State College athletics for the next half hour. On this edition, the always entertaining Jamie Howell, the head coach of the men's golf program at Eastern Florida State College. We also talk hoops with both head coaches of the two athletic programs, of the two basketball teams who are both coming off of wins. I'm talking about Jim Grimes and, of course, head coach Jeremy Schulman. Action-packed show. Let's get it underway. We begin now with the head coach and, of course, Nene Johnson, the star point guard, the sophomore. Jim Grimes, Nene Johnson, welcome to the show. Happy New Year, and hope you guys had a really good holiday. How did you spend the time off, Coach?
Well, we had a short break. We gave the team about a week off. So it was nice to just recharge a little bit. I did do some recruiting over that span, but it was nice just to spend some time with my family, and we had a fun time.
And Nene, you don't have to travel very far for a holiday break, but how was the time off, and what's it like, as a player to kind of get that mental break?
The time off was good. I got to spend time with my family, so that's always good. I don't see them much, so the time off is well needed.
Yeah, but now it's back to work, and you're coming off a great win over the weekend against Miami-Dade. A game that was really nip-tuck for about a half. You end up winning 105-85. How did that game go, in your opinion?
Well, I was pleased with how the game ended. I thought we played very inconsistently in the first half. Miami-Dade's a very talented team. Coach Summers does an unbelievable job down there, and she has for many, many years. And so I knew they would come in ready, and they did. And they really gave us all we could handle, for a lot of that game. Luckily the second half we were able to, tighten up a little bit and, play a little better defense, rebound a little better, and we were able to pull away a little bit at the end. Yeah,
Paula Vasquez gives you the big three-pointer to give you a lead going into half. Well, what was the halftime locker room like? Because this is a team I would expect that you guys expect to beat here in the conference race.
Yeah, well, we were excited about the way the half ended, but we weren't playing very good defense, so we had to make some changes with that, but it was good.
Talk a little bit about Nene's contributions. You also had a win against Palm Beach prior, so 2-0 to start off conference play. This is what you expect, of course, but talk about her contributions the last two games as a leader.
Well, Nene's been unbelievable for us. She's growing every single day as a leader. She's able to be a verbal leader, lead by example. These last two games against St. Petersburg and Miami-Dade have been, really good for her. She's done a good job of picking and choosing when she needs to score, when she needs to distribute. And, we've needed her to score a little bit more for sure the last two games, and she's stepped up. She's had over 20 our first two conference games. And against Miami-Dade, she also had 10 assists, so she was able to, find other scores. And it really made for a balanced scoring effort against Miami-Dade, which is why we were able to score, 105 points.
Speaking of scoring, Nene, two games now this season where you've went and eclipsed the 100-point plateau. In fact, this was the highest scoring output of the season. What's more important to you as a point guard, distributing the ball on the offense or really locking down on defense, because you excel at both?
Well, I like getting my teammates involved because without them, you can't win. So I like to get them involved, give them confidence, and then I'll worry about myself.
How about some of the other contributors? Obviously, Paula has been really solid for you and a big scoring machine, especially beyond the arc.
Yeah, Paola's been really one of our more consistent scorers. She's leading us in scoring so far this season. She's a big shot maker for us, and so when we really need a basket, that's usually the place we're going. Nene does obviously a good job of getting her the ball in the right spot, the right place, and the right time. We talk a lot about that in our locker room, right person, right shot, right place, right time. And of course, Paula always seems to be in the right place at the right time. And of course, she had 24 against Dade, and she's been, really good for us. And all our starters really were good. Against Dade, we had all 5 starters were in double figures, and we were very balanced. And along with Crystal and Trudy, each had 16, and Emma had 10. So, if we could get balanced scoring like that every game, will be tough to beat.
You guys have won 4 of 5, coming off a pretty tough stretch pre-holiday. But I sense, from you guys, you don't feel that you're at as a team where you need to be here at this point, even though you're 2-0 in the conference.
No, we got to get better defensively, rebounding. Our offense is good. We just got to execute on stopping the other team.
You said post-game, and it's a familiar refrain most of the season. You're still looking as a coach for the first 40-minute performance from this team because you feel they can do a lot more.
I definitely do. Consistency is the key for us. It's a 40-minute game, and with our schedule, we have to play the entire 40 minutes. We can't take anybody for granted. Southern Conference is very tough. We've had 2 tough games so far, and we'll have more coming up. So there are no nights off. So we are really striving in practice to get more consistent, to start better, and really not take moments off, not take minutes off, and really get a more consistent 40-minute effort.
Talk about the conference race here. How important is it to defend a conference title, and how hard is it going to be knowing you've got some of the tougher teams on the schedule coming up here this weekend?
Well, it's harder now this year because every team wants to beat us. So every team's going to come out firing, so we just got to be ready for that every game. No days off.
When we last talked, Jim, before the holiday break, you were in the midst of a pretty tough stretch, but the word is out. The Massey ratings have Eastern Florida State College as the toughest women's basketball schedule in the country. You guys, there's some bumps with it, but it's part of a larger process for you. And at this point, does that tough schedule that you've played and some of those losses you've had to suffer, has that been part of the script for you? And do you think are you now seeing the benefits as you've gotten to conference play?
Yeah, we are starting to see the benefits of that, and that was very intentional on our part. We did want to play a very tough schedule, and for sure, now we're sort of seeing the fruit of that. The point of all that is to put yourself in a very tough situation so you are prepared for conference play and you're prepared for the playoffs, for state tournament, region tournament, and hopefully the national tournament. So I can see even in these 2 conference games that we've already had where we struggled a bit in the first half, but we were able to, sort of self-correct, which we work on a lot, and second half we were much better in both of those games, and hopefully that's, attributed to the tough schedule that we have played.
Just curious, Nini, what was it like in the locker room when you had a couple of those tough losses? A lot of them were close against some of the top teams in the country. What was that like, and did you guys know this is part of a bigger plan down the road?
It was tough at first, but as Coach got to talking to us, we finally realized that we needed that so we can know what to do in conference time, end of game situations. We lost a couple close ones, which we felt like we should have won, but it just helped us learn. That's it. It was a learning experience.
Coach, it's Palm Beach, one of the favorites in the conference, along with you guys here this weekend. What challenges do they present, and what things do you have to do better that maybe you didn't do against Miami-Dade to get a W?
Well, Palm Beach is going to create a really big challenge for us. Coach Rufo, again, one of the top coaches in the country. And she's added some great assistant coaches this year as well. She's got one of the best staffs in the country for sure. And Lakia Sims is a returning post player for them. They kind of gave us fits last year. She's potential All-American this year. And we're definitely going to have to be ready to guard from the start and not have to make comebacks in the second half or anything like that, because they are a very, very talented basketball team.
And you get the games at home. There was a big crowd. How did that help with the Miami-Dade game? And are you looking forward to more of that?
Yeah, I like the crowd situation is unique. It helps us a lot with getting energy, and when we make shots, we feel a lot more confident.
Well, you heard it here first. They like having the big crowd, so make sure you come out to the Titan Fieldhouse this Saturday, a big conference game against Palm Beach. Jim Grimes, Nini Johnson, thanks for joining us, and best of luck this week.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
When we come back, we will turn our attention to Jeremy Schulman and the men's basketball program on a roll, as well as they've opened conference play. That's all next on Inside Titan Sports.
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe. We now turn our attention to the men's basketball program, now 14-3 on the season. Most importantly, 2-0 in conference play. Talking to Jeremy Schulman, the head coach of your Titans. Welcome back. How is the holiday break? I know you've actually played a couple of games since we've last talked, but how was the holiday, first of all?
Holiday was good. Glad to be back, though. Glad to be in the middle of conference. So this is my Christmas right now, having conference games. So it's glad to be back. Mentioned
2-0 in conference play to start over the weekend. A big win over Broward on the home court. Any conference game is going to have some major importance, but how did you feel the guys managed?
Oh, Really, really proud of our guys. I mean, our guys really came together for that game, and I thought played one of our best games. Definitely the best first 25 minutes of a game that we played all year, but one of our best games we played all year. Broward's an outstanding team. Coach Startman does a phenomenal job coaching them. DeAndre Turner is one of the best scorers and one of the best players in the country, as he proved second half against us. Really proud of our guys. I thought we really defended it for the first 25 minutes. We were up 60-33 with, I think, 15 minutes to go in the second half. And you know, fantastic team coming in here, and we found a way to win. It wasn't necessarily pretty towards the end, but we held on after building that big lead.
That's what happens. There's a complacency sometimes. 27-point lead, as you mentioned, in the second half. And then DeAndre Turner, one of the best scorers in the country. In fact, last year, I believe he finished in the top 5 from Winter Park High School, plays for Broward, held scoreless by this defensive crew in the first half. Second half, what, about 6 threes, and they were not like uncontested.
Right.
They were NBA range, and he's just. How can somebody be so streaky like that? That's what you wonder. That's what we were talking about in the broadcast.
He's just an outstanding player. Yeah. He's an outstanding player. Now I thought our guys, all, you know, my hat goes off to them. They did an unbelievable job defensively first half. Followed the game plan. I mean, we contested everything. We forced him out of his comfort zone, and we made him guard at the other end. Also made him play defense on us, and so I thought we did a great job. Now, it took just that one time giving him an open look second half, and then he caught fire. Then all the contested shots, the deep shots, at that point, there's not a lot you can do. He's a great player.
He doesn't want to play defense. That's not his game, right?
He wants to score 30 a game. So
yeah, you guys, though, a different story. Very, very good defensive team up in the national rankings. That has been one of the calling cards in your tenure here. Also the rebounding as well, and had a big edge, again. As far as that performance, is this something that you feel is getting better as the season's moving along?
We've been inconsistent with it. We were very, very good defensively for the first 12 games of the year, and then I thought we got a little complacent defensively, and we focused a little too much offensively. And we actually started scoring the ball better and stopped guarding quite as well. Got back from the break, got back to defense, got back, I thought we had a pretty decent balance defensively and offensively, and then we stopped rebounding. So Broward, I thought we kind of put all three together for the first time, if not all year, first time in a long time. So I thought we did a good job in all three factors.
Talk about the contributions to your freshman. Kareem Bruton, my goodness, he made 30 points. He just went off, and they had no answer whether he was going outside or inside. He really just kind of carved his way through anything and went right to the basket every time he wanted. It was at will.
I don't know where to start when we talk about Kareem. He's a special player, and we're fortunate to have him. They say scores at all levels. He can pass it, he can guard it, he can rebound it. And the fact that he's just a freshman doing all this is really impressive. I think he's one of the best in the country, and he's a great kid at that. So he's a lot of fun to coach.
I think Mark Moses and I were talking during the broadcast a little bit about C.J. Jackson, who's kind of an unsung hero because he's not the guy that's going to get the scoring as far as the reps and taking a lot of shots. But, man, he really makes his team go.
Oh, he does. I'm glad you brought that up. CJ is our most important player. I think Kareem, you can make an argument with Kareem, with BJ Gladden, with CJ, with Georgie, who our best player is, but I think our most important player is CJ. When as he goes, the team goes. And he's been really good for most of the year, so we've been very successful. He gets everyone involved. He's our best defensive player. Always seems to make the right play, make the right pass, can really shoot it, shooting 42% from three-point range. It's not always flashy what he does, but I mean he's a gamer. He's a gamer, and the fact that he's just a freshman also, it's a tribute to him.
Speaking of now sophomores, Georgie Baranja, I mean, I think for the Serbian, the one way to describe him is tenacious. I mean, when he's under that basket, you're getting 2 points.
Yeah. Georgie has battled some ankle injuries this year, and it's really taken him out of his rhythm most of the year. And he still had a fantastic year for us, and he's, I think, our third leading scorer right now. But he really, really broke out. So the most healthy he's been against Broward, and it showed. And it showed. He had 21 points and 6 rebounds against Broward, 7 for 11 from the field. He just is productive. It's not always flashy. It's not always pretty, but he's one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best sophomore front court players in the region. Before you could go 2-0 on conference play, you had to go 1-0. You had to do it against the number 3 team in the country, Palm Beach. A huge win to open conference play. Tell you what, Kareem Bruton again is the guy that's winning the game. He goes in 4 seconds on a set play, all the way to the basket to beat the buzzer. What a special win! That will rank up there as one of those special wins in my coaching career. And going into it. Coming off the Harcum, game, we need. I won't often say we need a win. We needed one. We needed that one, and I knew it. Didn't tell the team that, of course, but I knew it, and the guys just responded. And it was the toughest we played all year, the most physical we've played all year. Didn't always execute, but just as far as just the mentality and the toughness and energy, it was a special game, special atmosphere, hostile crowd. Palm Beach does a great job getting big crowds, and for us to just go back and forth all game with them, and then, as you said, tie game, 4.2 seconds left, and executed perfectly, and Kareem got all the way to a rim, and he said, "Coach, I don't know, can I get all the way to a rim in 4.2?" I said, "You absolutely can," and he did. He's a speedster, so he got there. And unbelievable effort, unbelievable game against a really, really good team in Palm Beach.
And you said it comes at a good time because, and this is, I think, a positive. Now, we had a 53-game home win streak. It came to an end against the team from Pennsylvania in Harcum. Yeah. Lost on just a fluke buzzer beater from a non-shooter, as we were talking about during the break. All good things come to an end. I know that's cliche. Yeah. But talk about that game. But also, I'm sure after that game, you're thinking, man, what are the things we accomplished here? And you know it was going to go. At least it went down to a team you're not normally going to play or see. It wasn't a conference game.
I'll kind of address both questions. The first one is the game itself. Fantastic team in Harcum. They're 15th in the country right now. They're 15th for a reason. Great team, and when you play a great schedule like we do at home, you're bound to have it come down to the end, and it just wasn't our time that night, and the kid hit a tough shot that he normally won't hit, and it is what it is. But second part of the question, it does make you reflect. When you're in that winning streak, there's a little bit of pressure on it. You got 50, 51, 52, 53, and a little bit of pressure like, well, we can't mess this up. We can't mess this up. And now that it's over, a little bit of burden has been released, and it does make you reflect a little bit. And we've had some amazing games at home, and the most special to me was the Palm Beach game in 2011-12, spring of 2012, and they were, I think, number 3 or 4 in the country, and they had not lost. Their only 2 losses during the regular season were to us that year. So this was basically a de facto conference championship game, and we're down 3 late in the game, and we got Addison Sproul and Niles Evans on the court, and we run something totally different where Niles is setting the screen, pops out, hits the 3 at the buzzer to send the game to overtime. Addison takes over in overtime, we win. That's the most special of all of our home wins to me.
You've already started a new streak, and then you'll try to continue at this weekend as you have Indian River, a team that did not finish high in the standings last year. Is this a big challenge for the guys, or is this one of these, breathe a little bit?
Oh, they are. It's amazing in junior college basketball what difference a year can make. And they did. They finished last in the conference last year, and now they are right towards the top. They are outstanding. They beat Miami-Dade very handily last week. They beat ASA Miami very handily last week. Outstanding team. Coach Charlie Wilson in his first year is just doing a phenomenal job with them, and they've got great guard play. They've got some size inside. They've got a ton of shooters, and he's a fantastic coach. So it will be a very challenging game, and it will be an outstanding game for us on Saturday.
That game on the 16th, a 4 o'clock start there at the Titan Fieldhouse. Going to be a good one. Well, continued success, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week after another couple of wins.
Thanks again, Jeff.
All right. That's Jeremy Schulman of the Titans basketball program. They continue to rack up the wins as they look forward to another conference championship, a state tournament appearance, and maybe, who knows, something even bigger. When we come back, we'll turn our attention. We'll go from basketball to golf. That is next as we bring in Jamie Howell on Inside Titan Sports.
I learned that the Indian River Lagoon needs all our help to survive.
I learned that my favorite running shoes are on sale this weekend.
I learned what the El Nino is and how it affects weather in Florida.
I learned that Pluto is 4.67 billion miles away from the Earth.
Holy cow, that's far.
I learned that there's treasure all around us, even on the ocean floor.
I learned what quinoa is, and after trying it, I learned I'm not a fan.
Introduce a child to a newspaper, and you introduce them to the world. What can your child learn today?
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe. Now you're in for a treat as we bring in the reigning NJCAA Men's Golf Coach of the Year, the man, the myth, the likable guy, Jamie Howell. Welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Missed you too. Thanks.
Your check's in the mail.
Yeah.
How was your holiday? What did you do over the holiday break?
It's just that it's a break. Guys finish up class back in December. Our facility stays open, so I stay there a fair amount of time. But also, I've got some off-season pursuits. I hunt. I duck hunt. I deer hunt a little bit, just to get out in the woods some.
Were you successful?
The deer population took a hit. The ducks are intact. You don't have to worry about any shortage of ducks in Florida right now.
Okay, keep that in mind, everybody. So Daffy is okay. That's perfect. And we are in Disney, right? So we want to talk about Donald as well. So moving forward, we're kind of in between seasons. And then the college golf, the way the season's set up, a lot of folks watching may not know how that is. It's not a professional tour situation. It's a team-inspired event. You got a spring, you got a fall. How was the fall? And now let's look ahead to the spring and what things do we have going on?
Fall was pretty good. We won twice, played 4 events, 2 wins coming out of it, 2 third-place finishes. We have an annual event with Florida Tech. It's a Ryder Cup style event that we have with them. So the fall worked out really well. And plus we finished with a win up at Central Alabama at a golf course we've struggled at through the years. The last 2 visits we've come away with their trophy. So the fall we got our feet on the ground, have some ideas of what we do well, have some pretty good ideas what we need to get better at. And as we go into the spring, we hit the ground running. We host the first event of spring every year. We play it the Monday and Tuesday after Super Bowl Sunday. So we've got a little less than a month to get ready for the Titan Winter Invitational. And with the information we have from the fall, we'll be well equipped at the very least to get ready for that.
Sure, you host the beginning of the season and then you host the end. I mean, this is big news in these parts. At Durand Golf Club, Aaron Vieira, you're going to host the national tournament. And obviously you want to be there and maybe win a championship there too. But how big is it just for not just the school but the community to host an event like that?
Oh, I think it's terrific. I mean, take a look at how the folks have turned out for the soccer national championship in Melbourne. I look for that same type of support from the community for our golf program as well. I think it puts Brevard County on the map in the way I think this college is proud of.
You touched on it already. On the 8th and 9th of February, right after the Super Bowl, is the Titan Winter Invitational. How many teams,
We'll have 14 teams altogether, be approximately 80 players. We'll play 36 holes the first day on the 8th, 18 holes on the second day, the 9th. And we'll crown a team champion and an individual champion. Can
you talk about the mental approach? And I think we talked a little bit about it in the fall, but just the team golf aspect and how you have to set up a lineup or flights and that sort of thing. What's the strategy? And obviously when you're winning Coach of the Year, you got that mind. You're thinking about team golf. It's different.
You're more than generous with the Coach of the Year comments, but good players make coaches look good. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The mindset is we're 5 guys. There's 5 men on a golf team playing, and 4 scores count. So we're going to throw out the high score each round.
The high score.
You throw out the high score. So basically what you try to do with the guys is instill in them, pick up your teammates. If you're having a bad day, somebody else might be struggling worse than you, so you can't throw in a towel because you think you're struggling, somebody's going to pick it up for you. The big issue there is, play all 18 holes, from the first tee shot to the last putt. Don't give up. Just don't let up for one moment, because more tournaments are lost rather than won. More teams basically they encounter some type of struggle. They encounter basically issues they're not comfortable with.
Sure. And
it's not beneath any of them to say, oh, the heck with it. Well, if you can persevere all the way to the end, more times than not, you're going to come out near the top, if not on it, just for staying in it longer.
Talk about the mental aspect to some of the players you have. Give us a rundown of the roster. I know we've talked about Carrie and Michael and Josh. You've had such a good run of players here, some All-American type players. What about this set of kids you got tonight?
Probably the best advice they receive is from former players when our alumni come in to visit. Sure. And they'll sit down and chat with them and tell about their experiences when they were at formerly BCC, now Eastern Florida State College, and what it was like for them and what they can expect going to these tournaments. Young men like Kerry Sweeney are few and far between. He's a gamer. Nobody out there wants the ball more than him at the end of the game. Nobody wants to have the last putt to hole, whether to win, finish second, whatever. He wants that. And that mindset is incredibly rare. The talk is consistent across the board, but the guys that can really handle that, it's incredible to see that. And then the key is, for me, talking to the guys about the discomfort of high competition, being in a situation where you're uncomfortable, you're anxious, you're scared, and embracing that. This is why you practice. This is why you work. You want that fear to motivate you. Like, this is why I'm supposed to be here right now. I'm ready to perform in this. And the more they embrace it, then their comfort factor is this is how we compete.
Speak to the recruiting advantage you have, not just being in Florida. It is the golf capital of the United States, but here on the Space Coast as well. So many good courses, so many good players. You got Carey, who won a state championship at Holy Trinity. You've got Taylor Whalen from Merritt Island. So you got guys right down the road. They get a chance to get their college career started right close to home. That's a big advantage, isn't it?
It is. You know, one, the Space Coast has always been a mecca for young golfers. I mean, it's Florida. We should be pretty good. Simple as that. Brevard County has developed numerous golfers through the years. Florida in itself, you know, there's more golf going on here than any of us know about. If you take a look at young folks, the first thing they're going to do is find who's playing and competing, who's winning. Sure. They're going to gravitate toward those programs. We've been fortunate. We've won a number of events through the years. We've had our success, so we attract some attention. The side of recruiting that can be difficult is basically getting your group to mesh. The chemistry of the team is almost as important as the talent. If you don't have talent, you're not going to beat anybody.
Sure.
But at the same time, you've got to have folks that are on the same page, that are willing to put in the hours, that recognize here's what we have to sacrifice to get where we want to go. And whether or not they achieve it, at the end of the day, they'll know we put in the time, we gave the effort, and we did everything we were supposed to do, at the very least, to chase that. That for me, when you're doing your recruiting, that's the intangible that I'm always after.
Jamie, I think everybody would agree. A sport like basketball is an easier thing to quantify the actual spectator sport aspect of starting having a crowd. When you have, say, fans of golf or students or alumni of Eastern Florida come out to support the team, obviously that is something that is relished and enjoyed. How do the players handle that? Because when having covered some high school golf in the state and some college golf in the state, you don't usually have a big gallery following. And is that something that could unnerve a young player, or is that something you welcome?
Absolutely, and you want to unnerve them a little bit, because if you do that in advance, they'll have an idea what's coming. There are times we'll take students from the school. I teach a golf class up on the Golf Academy, and I'll have my guys demonstrate once in a while for the students. When we go to these golf courses locally and play, some of the members will come out and watch. And again, it goes back to, can you find the comfort of this moment? Can you basically block out what's going on around you and play the game? And there's a knack to that. You can't expect them to do it overnight. And at the same time, the more you put them in that situation, the better they're going to respond to it.
The Titan Winter Invitational, being held at Suntree right here in Melbourne, right up Wickham Road, February 8th and 9th. Make sure you come out and support one of the best men's golf teams in the country. Jamie Howell, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's all the time we have. I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining us on this edition of Inside Titan Sports. Just a reminder, if you need to get more information, you've got to get your Titans fix. You can tune into this show every week at Thursday night on WEFS TV, or better yet, just visit the Eastern Florida State College website, the athletic site that is put together by the esteemed Mark Dakotas. Everything you ever need to know is on that. You go to easternflorida.edu/athletics. So for all my guests, I'm Jeff Radcliffe saying so long, see you next time, and go Titans.